Hi children, after the little bit of lockdown period we have come again to study little bit, and class 9 you have chapter 3 physiological process of life was continued, and your topic is respiration. And in respiration we have at first the concept or the definition of the respiration. You know, respiration is the process which actually helps the total organisms, all the organisms, whether it is small or big or whatever it is, to produce energy in the particular body to run all the metabolic activities. So that is why respiration is very much required. What happens in respiration? The food is being consumed in a different manner. There are different type of animals are there, herbivore, carnivore, omnivore, and in case of the very small ones, there are the microbes are there, they also obtain the food. All this food what is obtained, especially in the heterotrophs, cannot directly go into the cells, because the heterotrophs have two kinds of respiration is there. One is extracellular respiration or breathing, the other one is the cellular respiration or the respiration by which inside the cell the mitochondria, the digested food is being oxidized and broken down into glucose and energy. Well, we have the organ level of organization. At first we say the definition of respiration is a process by means of which the digested and simplified food is broken down, oxidized, and finally goes to the cells for production of energy in ATP molecules. This is known as respiration. And then we have why respiratory organs are important. You see, the respiratory organs are important because all the animals and the plants and all organisms are not having the same kind of physical symmetry or system. So respiratory organs are important because they give the proper facility for the respiration. Well, the characteristics of the organ is that they must be moist. They must be moist. They have to be moist to undergo the gaseous exchange with, they will have to be well supplied with the blood, through the capillaries or something else. Anyhow, supplied with the blood. Now, respiratory sites in plants. We come to the plants, their sites. You see, the plants are having respiratory organs as stomata. We cannot see them naked, but yet, if you take a green leaf and just look at the sun through the leaf, putting the leaf, the opposite side, the ventral side, you can see very fine pore-like dots will be found. That is known as the singular stoma and plural stomata. And these are the openings through which the gaseous exchange is done. Though stomata in leaf has some other work also, but it is the one of the board. Then lenticels. In the higher and big plants, in the bark, there are gaps which are there. And one more important thing is that during the day when there is sunlight, the plants undergo photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is the process by means of which the plants make the food for themselves and indirectly for the food for all the organisms living on the world, on the surface of the earth. So, at that time, the stomata is busy absorbing, taking oxygen and also releasing carbon dioxide. In that case, what is happening? This time, while the photosynthesis is going on, stomata is busy with the work of the photosynthesis. So, how do the plants respire that time? They will respire with the help of the lenticels. Lenticels are structures which are present on the bird, and then through them the gaseous exchange is done for the plants. And at night when there is no sun, so photosynthesis is not there, that time the stomata acts as the respiratory organ. And this respiratory organ, so at night you never sleep beneath the tree, because during the night the plants release carbon dioxide, because that time they are helping in respiration. So at night they are active, the stomata are active for taking in oxygen, leaving out carbon dioxide. So if you sleep beneath the tree at night, there may be a problem of asphyxiation, asphyxia, that means the closeness of the breathing tube, and which can cause even death also. So at night must not sleep beneath the tree. In the day, obviously, so because in the day the stomata is busy for the work of photosynthesis, so they suck the carbon dioxide, they take the carbon dioxide and they leave oxygen. So beneath the tree during the daytime is very healthy for the people. So that is the work of the stomata. And we come to the lenticels, that they do the reproductive process and system during the day when the stomata is busy for the photosynthesis. Well, respiratory organs of animals. Now, number one, there are some animals are there who respire with the body surface. Like very lower animals like amoeba, unicellular one, they respire. They do almost everything, the gaseous exchange they do with their body surface. So that is body surface. But in higher animals also, not in body surface, but by skin they also respire. That will come in the later stages of explanation. Then we have the trachea and spiracles. The trachea and spiracles are the characteristic organs, breathing organs of the insects. Insects have the fine pipes almost in horizontal and vertical ways arranged in the body, and with having external holes which are known as the spiracles. And through the spiracles they take the air, and through the trachea they complete the total respiration. And that is how the respiration do their, the insects do their respiration, and that is known as the trachea and the spiracles. Gills are the other organ that is there in the feces. You see, if you have gone to the market with your father, or if sometimes a fish had come to your house by purchase, and your mother, she has gone to cut it into pieces too for cooking, then you see sometimes the part of the ear where there is a cover that has been opened, and see there is a comb-like structure, little bit bent comb-like structure is there, which are known as the gills. And if you see, if you touch it with your finger, you will see the blood will come out from there, because that is very much rich with the fine blood capillaries carrying the blood. So this gill is the respiratory organ of the fish. What happens, you know, if you have seen a fish in your aquarium, or if you go to Mirik and all those places where you see in the lake the fish is swimming, you see all fishes do like this. Look at my face, you see they look at my mouth, they do like this, all fishes do like this continuously, you see. What is that, you know? They take the water and swallow it, forcing it through the operculum, that means the ears. And what happens, you know? The water has dissolved oxygen, and fishes take the dissolved oxygen for their respiration. And when the water is forced through the mouth and the ear, through the gills have fine capillaries, blood capillaries, and they catch the oxygen. That is how the fishes breathe. Except of that, the fishes have the additional respiratory organ in. What is additional respiratory organ? If you have gone to know about that, I do not know whether you are a fish eater or not. If you are not also, then sometimes you go to the market and observe. Anabas means what is in common called koi, and there is singi and magu, a kind of catfish. So there you see, they are, when they are taken out of the water also, they live for long time. They live for long time. Well, so what I was explaining you, the fishes, they respire through the gills. And what do they do? I told you, if you go to the pond or near your aquarium, you see the fishes always do like this. Look at my mouth in the water. Why? Because they take the water through the mouth and release it through their ear. That means ear, there is the gills. Gills are having lot of fine tubes which is rich, capillaries rich with the blood, and then the dissolved oxygen of the water, they are actually taken the dissolved oxygen from the water, and that is how they respire. That is how they respire. Except of that, the fishes have the additional organs for breathing. Some fishes like anabas, which is known as koi, and the kind of catfishes like magur and singi, if they are taken out of the water, even then they live for a long time, do not die, because they have additional respiratory organ through which they can breathe. They can exchange the gaseous exchange through the air, okay, and that is they do. Except of that, in higher animals, there are plenty of animals who respire with the lungs. We respire with the lung. The frog and toad in adult condition respire with the lung. The birds respire with the lung. The reptiles respire with the lung, and so on. They respire with the lungs. Lungs is the main respiratory organ. Okay. Now, accessory respiratory organs in fishes are, these are, I told you the additional respiratory organs. The accessory organs are air bladder. What are they? Air bladder. Number 2, buccal cavity. Alimentary canal also does sometimes the gaseous exchange. Skin and air chambers. Now, you see, air bladder, they help to keeping in the respiration. What is buccal cavity? Buccal cavity means the cavity of the mouth. And this is the buccal cavity. And in specially toad and frog, they have a fine membrane in the buccal region. So through that they can do the gaseous exchange. Now, my dear children, why and how? You see, toad and frog are the two species. They go for hibernation, that means long winter sleep, and aestivation, long summer sleep. Both the species never go together. One species stays outside like the frog. Right now in the rainy season, frogs are observed. Frogs, you know, long legs, golden color patches are there, head is triangular, that is frog. They make the sound, the people say they call rain. No, they never call rain. That is their mating call, because this is their mating season. The males mate with the female for the reproduction, and that is why they make the call like that. And that is nothing. Through the air hole, the air passes and makes the sound. Okay. Now, what happens in this? The frogs, they go for hibernation. That means during the winter, they sleep for long winter. And in that time, the frogs stay in the burrows. And in the burrows, when they stay, they keep their mouth out towards the opening. And through the buccal membrane, they take the gaseous exchange. The gaseous exchange they do the respiration, and they remain alive. Because at that time, other activity is not there. So only to keep the life, only to keep themselves alive, they do the buccal respiration through the buccal cavity. Same thing is happening with the toad. Toad goes the summer sleep. This is the summer, their toads are sleeping. You never find toad here right now. Toads are ugly looking, warty, fat, and all kinds are there. There you never find the toads in the rainy season. You find the frogs in the rainy season, and winter season you will find the toads. Why? Because frogs go hibernation, long winter sleep, and toads go aestivation, long summer sleep. And in the long summer sleep, they also do the buccal respiration, because they also stay in the burrows and hide, where they keep the mouth only out. So that is why the buccal cavity is required and the buccal membrane is required for the respiration. While coming to the part that is alimentary canal, through which the A little bit of gaseous exchange is done and we come to the skin. Frog is a creature that when it lays egg, it comes out at the tadpole, the young ones. The young ones are having external gills outside. They respire with the external gills. In course of time, they undergo metamorphosis to grow into adult frog, and slowly and gradually the external gills is dropped. It's not there in their body because that time automatically the lung has formed. But during their mating season, especially in the frogs, they mate with the female frog in the water. And as they do, they mate with the female frogs in the water. They float in the water along with the level. So when they float in the water along with the level, mostly their nostrils and all those is deep beneath the water. So if it is deep, if I put your head down into the water, what will happen? You will not be able to respire and you will die. But frogs never do that. Frogs, they have the skin. So the back, on the back they have the skin, and the skin does the gaseous exchange during this period. Because this is the magic of the nature. Because the nature is to keep the toad and frog alive, and that is why it is there. So skin is also the respiratory organ of frog. So frog respires in tadpole stage by gill, in common adult stage by lung, in special hibernation and aestivation state by buccal cavity, and finally with the skin during the mating period. And that is how it is done. Well, the next is the lung and breathing in humans. You see there is a pictures given here. The two balloons are put on a pipe. If you force the air, you see I am standing here and taking in breathing. What is happening? The air has gone and my chest is expanded. It will be same with you also. And what is happening? If you force the air through it, you will see in jar B the inflated balloons are coming out, and the elastic membrane will be extended also. And that is how the working of the lung is shown. Now, what are the movement of the muscles are there during the respiration? You see, you have, when you have taken inhalation, you see the ribs come out because the muscles of the ribs are relaxed. Air has gone out, the lung is already filled, so ribs go outward. If the muscles were not relaxed, the ribs would have been broken, or you might have some pain. That is not happening because of the relaxed muscles. So you do like this, ribs swell up. You do the expiration, the ribs relax and goes out. So that is how the rib muscles work. While you know another specialty of the rib muscles is there. There are two pairs of rib, one pair of rib which is the last is known as floating rib, which is not present in the human male. It is present in the, it is not present in the human female. It is present, I am sorry, it is human female where the floating ribs are not present. Why the floating ribs are not attached to the, what you will call them? Because at the adult age, when the girls or the females gets pregnant, they produce milk in their breast, and for the breastfeeding, especially in mammals, the ribs has to move, and if it was stuck with the backbone, it could have been broken. So that is why it is called floating ribs. What are they called as? Floating ribs. And then we come with the another movement which is known as diaphragm. You see our body, there is a cavity inside it. This cavity, complete cavity where the lung is there, is known as the thoracic cavity, and they are down beneath this abdominal cavity. In abdominal cavity there is stomach and the pancreas and all those are there. In thoracic cavity the lung and all those is there. So there is a muscular bridge like structure over here which is known as diaphragm. So diaphragm keeps the upper organs separated from the lower abdominal organs, and so when the inhalation is taken, diaphragm goes up. You see, the diaphragm goes up. Exhalation, the diaphragm comes to its own place. So that is the movement that has been done by the muscles. Now, this process of taking in oxygen is known as, or the whole air is known as the inhalation, and leaving out the oxygen is known as the exhalation. Now, lung and healthy life. If a man has strong, nice, mobile and healthy lung, the man will have a good life, healthy life, because the lung helps in the production of energy, and thus every metabolic activity of the body will be fine, and so the people will be healthy, those who have good lungs. Well, we have the breathing exercises. Every morning you stand in front of an open space, look at the greens and take the inhalation in full. Keep the air inside your body because to oxygenate all the cells and all, and slowly and gradually relax and release the exhalation of the air. Let it go. What is the difference between the inhaled air and the exhaled air? In inhaled air, the percentage of oxygen is approximately 20%, while in exhaled air, the percentage of oxygen reduced to 4.5%. While you will see how mathematical the nature is, the increase of the carbon dioxide is also 4.5%. The carbon dioxide which was taken inside was 0.03 to 0.04%, will be increased by 4.5%. On the other hand, the oxygen which was taken 20 or 20.9 up to 20.8 or 9, whatever is taken, when you exhale, then you will find the oxygen is less by 4.5%. So that is the mathematical magic of the nature for the human body. Well, so after the breathing exercise, we come to cigarette smoking. The cigarette smoking is a hazard of the modern time, or else it was from ancient time also. Birdies, cigarette, all those the people used to have, and they cause a lot of problem of the lung. Lung is nothing but a sac filled with very fine capillaries and blood and all those. So it does the gaseous exchange, and it prepares actually oxidation of food, it does, and prepares the raw material for the production of energy, which is known in human beings as oxyhemoglobin, and that is been carried to the different cells of the body, where inside the cell the miniature organ which is known as powerhouse of the cell is the mitochondria. Mitochondrion is the singular and mitochondria is the plural. So they convert this oxyhemoglobin, the raw material of production of energy, into glucose finally, and that has been broken and to form the ATP, the adenosine triphosphate molecules, which are the energy molecules. So that is that. So if you smoke the cigarette, what will happen? The function of the complete lung and the pipes which are joining the lungs, like the bronchus, all those will be hampered, and slowly and gradually there will be lots of problem occurring. The problem as in the form of the disease of bronchitis, and bronchitis and emphysema, and finally lung cancer and heart disease is also there. So to get rid of this, you must do the exercise, breathing exercise of the lung, and also smoking cigarette is very, very injurious to health. Well, children, we have now the cellular respiration, and here you see the concept, the external respiration and the internal respiration. What is the external respiration? That is, I just explained a little earlier. The external respiration is known as the extracellular respiration or breathing. That all the organisms are taking in the oxygen and releasing out the carbon dioxide and etc. That is called as external respiration, because it never enters in the organs and all. It goes and helps the oxygen to go into the lung and just make contact with the digested food in the lung to get the oxidation of food and to prepare for the raw materials of the production of the energy, which is then carried to the cells, and their intercellular respiration occurs. So that is the external respiration. And internal respiration is the respiration after the production of oxyhemoglobin, especially in human beings, that has been carried by the blood. Fine capillaries are there in all parts of the body, and every cell has the mitochondrion. Mitochondrion is the singular, mitochondria is the plural, which is nothing but the powerhouse of the cell. And is this powerhouse of the cell, they convert the raw materials, that is oxyhemoglobin, which is produced in the lung along with the blood and the digested food materials, and that has been carried to different cells in mitochondria, and where that has been broken into ATP, that is ATP, then ATP is the energy coin which has been done. Okay, that is internal respiration, where the respiration is done, internal respiration is done, where glucose is formed and then glucose is broken down into the broken down into the energy, that is ATP, adenosine triphosphate. Now there is a magic for the mitochondria is there. The ATP is the energy coins that is stored in mitochondria, and the function of the mitochondria is to produce the energy, to store the energy, and to release the energy. And you know, ATP is adenosine triphosphate. These are the energy coins. These energy coins, when the energy is to be used, the ATP is converted into ADP, adenosine diphosphate. And in the adenosine diphosphate, they use it for all the metabolic work what is happening. And after the energy has been spent, the remaining ADP again changes to ATP and is stored. So storing, releasing and the production of energy is by mitochondria. That is all internal respiration. Now there is little bit of comparison in between the respiration and the combustion. In both the oxygen is being combined, but respiration occurs within the living cell. It is occurring within the living cell, and combustion occurs outside the cell. Why? Because combustion is any burning. Take a piece of paper, burn it. That is combustion. But respiration, it occurs the same thing. That is, the burning is there. In respiration, it's a burning. It's a burning. It's a controlled burning within the living cell. The digested simplified food carried by the blood comes in contact with the oxygen, and then there is oxidation, which is also a kind of burning that is there. And combustion is a burning where it is done outside anywhere, and it is in the cell. Number two, the respiration is a physiological process. That means it happens only in the body of the organisms, but combustion is physiochemical process. It can be done outside also. So it's a physiochemical process. Number three, the presence or absence of molecular oxygen is there. It is respiration can have molecular oxygen, cannot have also, because there is aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration is also there. And on the other hand, the combustion cannot occur without molecular oxygen. They need oxygen, otherwise it's not possible of combustion. That is very simple. If you just light a candle, it will be burning, and you put a glass on it. Slowly and gradually it will extinguish. Why? Because the supply of oxygen is cut. The supply of the oxygen is cut. That is why it goes out. Well, number three, slow with the help of enzyme. So when respiration occurs, some enzymes help in the lung from the body, and it goes very, very slowly. While combustion, it is very vigorous, fast, and with having no enzymes acting on it. No enzymes is required. Its burning is very fast and vigorous. Well, number five, no damage in the cell. Glucose is oxidized. Glucose is broken, oxidized to energy, but no damage in the cell is done. But in combustion, complete things are destroyed. Complete, whatever the things are destroyed, because it's a burning, simple burning. Take some objects, put fire on it. It will be burning to ashes, so it is destroyed. Well, number six, here ATP is produced. I was telling about ATP, adenosine triphosphate is the energy coin that is produced in respiration, and there is no generation of ATP in combustion. and at last the rate of respiration is slow and it is producing energy in a slow rate, while here the combustion is very quick and produces a lot of heat. So children, I understand that you have already gone through this and have understand the thing today after this, and thank you and have a good day.